Of St. Thomas's manner of spending his day the following particulars have been preserved. After the short time absolutely necessary for sleep, he would rise in the night and come down to the church to pray, returning to his cell just before the bell rang for matins, that his vigil might pass unnoticed. He would then go down again to office with the community, often prolonging his prayer till daybreak. After preparing by penance, confession, and meditation, he celebrated the first Mass, and for his thanksgiving heard another Mass, which he often served. He had composed prayers for all his daily actions, some of which are still preserved. At the elevation he was accustomed to repeat the words, "Thou, O Christ, art the King of glory," with the remaining verses of the Te Deum. Although lawfully dispensed from attendance in choir by his duties of teaching and writing and by the numerous visits of those who sought his advice, he assisted with the rest of his brethren at all the hours of the divine office, at which he often shed tears of devotion. When his morning spiritual exercises were ended, he gave his lectures on theology or Holy Scripture, after which he returned to his cell and wrote or dictated till dinner time. He ate but once in the day, and was perfectly indifferent to what was set before him. Indeed, in the refectory he was so absorbed in prayer and thought, as to become quite unconscious of external things, and his plate was often changed or his food taken away by the servers, without any notice on his part. After dinner he conversed for a short time with the brethren, then refreshed his soul with a little spiritual reading, his favorite book being the Conferences of Cassian. After a short repose, he resumed his labors. Compline in choir with the chanting of the Salve Regina ended the day. The angelic doctor was full of childlike devotion to Our Blessed Lady. His confessor, Brother Reginald, declared that St. Thomas had never asked anything through Mary without obtaining it, and the saint himself specially attributed to her intercession the grace of living and dying in the Dominican order, according to his own earnest desire. During the whole of one Lent, he preached on the words, Ave Maria, and the same cherished words are to be found in his own handwriting, over and over again on the margin of an autograph copy of the Summa against the Gentiles, recently discovered in Italy. On his deathbed he confided to Brother Reginald that Our Lady had appeared to him several times, and assured him of the good state of his soul and the solidity of his doctrine. The holy apostles Saints Peter and Paul also favored him with their visits, and explained to him difficult passages of Scripture. The epistles of St. Paul were his favorite subjects of meditation, and he was accustomed to recommend them to others for the same purpose. He had a special devotion to St. Augustine, whose proper office, still in use in the Dominican order, he composed from the holy doctor's works. St. Thomas used to wear round his neck a relic of the Virgin Martyr, St. Agnes, of which he once made use to cure Brother Reginald of a fever, which attacked him on a journey to Naples, and from that time we are told the holy doctor resolved to celebrate the feast of St. Agnes with special solemnity and with a touch of nature that showed human sympathy in the midst of his abstract studies, to have a better dinner provided in the refectory on that day. His marvelous science, says Brother Reginald, was due far less to the power of his genius than to the efficacy of his prayer. Before studying, entering on a discussion, reading, writing, or dictating, he always gave himself to prayer. He prayed with tears to obtain from God the understanding of his mysteries, and abundant light was granted to his mind. If he met with a difficulty, he joined fasting and penance to his prayer, and all his doubts were dispelled. On one occasion, Saint Bonaventure, coming to visit him, saw an angel assisting him in his labors. Among his remarkable sayings may be mentioned the answer he gave to his sister, when she asked him what she must do to become a saint. "Well," he replied, "will it?" Being asked what were the signs of the perfection of the soul, he replied, "If I saw a man fond of trifles in conversation, desirous of honor, and unwilling to be despised, I would not believe him perfect, even if I saw him work miracles."